Now we are hot. So, my fault. We are experiencing some technical difficulties, but we are now hot. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. See if we can get back hot again. Justin, what's up, brother? How you doing? Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. See if we could get back hot again. Hello, Julian, dear. How are you? Julian, what's up, brother? Liam, what's going on, brother? Mm-hmm. Running good, brother. Running good. Benzo, what up? Ian, what's up, brother? What's going on with you? I had some technical difficulties. That was a little tricky. What up, Keyshawn? What's going on, brother? Chick, love you too, brother. Absolutely. I don't know if I did. Which one? You got a bunch of them, so which one? What up, Crazy? How you doing, brother? Yes, Jillian, I did see Pat Beverly on First Take this morning. I think he's super wow for doing that. I think he is super wow without that. Mm-hmm. Actually, it wasn't a holiday, Lynn. He came down here with his job, right? He came down here with his job, and they had a boat that was his job, rented a boat. And on the boat, what they did was they were able to do a podcast, and they set up a time slot for us to do it on the boat. And I thought that was dope. So no doubt. Thanks, Jake. I'm glad I could help you out, my man. I did see that, Keyshawn. Yes, I did. Oh, no doubt. Can you drop your top 5 scorers this year? No. This year. Who are my top 5 scorers this year? James, KD, Embiid, James, KD, Embiid, Luka. James, KD, Embiid, Luka. Book. Giannis too. Yes, I left Giannis out. Absolutely Giannis. So I saw some things that was pretty cool yesterday. I saw some things that was super whack yesterday. I understand that Giannis basically carried them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they really missed Middleton. I thought that they were going to win it in 6, and I thought that they had an opportunity to win it in 6. They were ahead in the series, and Game 6 was the closeout game. I thought Giannis did everything that he could possibly do to put them in a position to win. I thought he put them in a position to win, and it just didn't happen. And the reason why it didn't happen is because the effort from those other guys. One of the things that I found out with championship teams is you are not getting it done if those other guys aren't there to help you. You're not. If those other guys don't step up, you are not going to get it done. And the whole time I'm watching that game, I'm thinking to myself, it's almost like I feel like I'm in Giannis's head where I'll score 50. If that's what it's going to take tonight in order for us to win, I'll score 50. I'll do it. If that's what it's going to take for us to move on, I'll score 50. But I'm not even sure 50 would have been enough because he didn't get anything from Grayson Allen. He didn't get much from Pat Connaughton. He didn't get anything from Bobby Portis. He didn't get anything from Brook Lopez. Drew Holiday was hot and cold that night. And then it just carried over. I think he emptied it all in game 6. And I think that that was all he had. When I think about what he did in game 6, I think that that was all he had. I think that what I saw in game 7 was a guy who tried to bring it, but I just didn't have anything left. I had nothing left. That would explain why the amount of shots you saw him miss or the amount of shots you saw them miss. That game was lost in the second and third quarter, where Boston completely shut the door on them. They couldn't make a shot. They couldn't stop Boston. They couldn't get anything going offensively. They were off balance defensively. They just couldn't get anything going. And now if you just look at the stat line, and if you look at the numbers, you're like, damn, Giannis went 25 and 20. I mean, what else you want him to do? Well, he had 2 points in the fourth quarter. He didn't really do much in the second half. And the reason why he didn't do much in the second half is, like I said, he was empty. He was absolutely empty. Now, the question that needs to be answered is what's the plan moving forward? What is the plan moving forward? I think that they got to shore up the middle. I think they got to get a younger big man. No doubt about that. I think they got to get a younger big man. I don't understand why Coach Bud didn't go with Serge in that series at all. I still have not gotten a satisfactory answer on why Coach Bud didn't go at all with Serge Ibaka in that series. He really could have helped them. I'm sure he could have helped them. Because that 44 that I got from Giannis in game 6, I think Serge could have contributed to that with some rim protection, with some rebounding, knocking down the mid-range. I don't think Serge is washed. There are a lot of people who think he's washed. I don't think he's washed. I still think he's valuable. I still think that he's valuable. Now, the 44 and 20 that I got from Giannis was surpassed by the 46, that I got from Jason Tatum. All right, well, that's what it takes in an elimination game. We lose, we're out. So I'm going to go out swinging. And I've said this to you guys countless times, and I stand on it when I say that when the game starts to slow down for Jason Tatum, which it has not yet, it has not slowed down, but when it slows down, in the next year or 2 years, we're going to be talking about this guy as the best player in the game. We're going to have a serious conversation about him being the best player in the game because I see the commitment on the defensive side of the basketball. I see it. It's not something that I'm thinking to myself, well, he kind of has flashes. No, I absolutely see the commitment from him defensively. So in the next year, 2 years tops, we are going to have a serious conversation about this guy being the best player in the game. I am 100% confident in that. Now, the Celtics moving forward, I said this before the season started. Not the series started. I mean, I thought that the winner of the Celtics-Milwaukee series, I think that they win the Eastern Conference Championship. I absolutely believe that. I think that those are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. I think that the Miami Heat have a great collection of guys, and I think that they got a really good bench. But defensively, they're going to try to match Boston, but offensively, I don't think that they can. I do not think that they can. And I think that that's going to be the difference in this series. Grant Williams is not surprising anybody. Jaylen Brown isn't surprising anybody. We already know who Tatum is. Tyler Hero isn't surprising. Bam isn't surprising anybody. We already know who these guys are. So who's going to be the difference in this series moving forward? Because I thought that Boston Celtic-Milwaukee series, I thought Al Horford was big in what they were doing defensively and contributing offensively the way he did. I thought that he was huge, man. I thought that he was absolutely fantastic. And I thought that he was the difference in what they were doing offensively and defensively, coming as a second and third option. He was huge. That could have been very well what Bobby Portis's role was. But I think Bobby Portis has a tendency to fall in love with the long ball. And because he falls in love with the long ball, that hampers his game. And because it hampers his game, it takes away from a lot of the other stuff that he does. And I got to say, man, I didn't think that they got much from him. So that Suns Mavs series, I as much as I would like to talk about it, I don't have anything positive to say. I mean, after those first two games, I honestly thought that they were going to make quick work of them. There was nothing that I saw that made me believe that Dallas had any shot in this series. There was nothing that I thought watching them in those first two games thinking Dallas got a shot in this series. Well, first and foremost, Dallas was a middle of the road team, right? Dallas was a middle of the road team. They were the 5th seed. They shot the long ball at 35%. That was good enough for 15th in the league. That means that they're average. They right in the middle, right? They're average. Hold on for a second. Dame did say he wanted to play with Giannis in the playoffs on Twitter. Dame said that he wanted to play with Giannis. I do not like Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. And no, I do not. I do not like Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. Absolutely not. No, I do not like Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. I don't think that he fits with what they're doing. I do not like Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. I know what you guys are looking at. When you look at Damian Lillard, you're looking at the shots. You're looking at the offense, not understanding that what Drew Holiday does for them offensively and defensively. You guys, all you look at is offense. That's all you care about. You have no idea how important Drew Holiday is for them, not just offensively in making shots in the role that he's in. They don't need another top-notch scorer. They already got another 20-a-game scorer. If they get Damian Lillard, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball out of Middleton's hands. Not only are we going to take the ball out of Middleton's hands, what we're also going to do is we're going to be less than defensively. And that's not going to help us. What I need you guys to do is I need you guys to stop thinking like the park. Start thinking like how basketball is won. These teams that are, prime example, who's in the Eastern Conference Championship right now? The Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Can you tell me where are the Boston Celtics defensively in the NBA? Where are they? Number one, can you tell me where the Miami Heat are in the NBA defensively? No, they're not 2, they're 4. So we got 2 of the best defensive teams in the game. You put Damian Lillard in Milwaukee, they're already the 18th best defensive team in the game. Put Damian Lillard in Milwaukee, they are even worse defensively, which means that we got to score more. And I've said this to you guys more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. When you get to the playoffs, what do you have to do? I'm all ears, guys. What do you have to do when you get to the playoffs? Dallas was 3rd. You have to. One more time, King, for the people in the cheap seats. I don't think they heard you. One more time, King, because I don't think they heard you. You got to stop people. There's no way that you can just go back and forth with teams. No. Because there's going to come a time when you're going to get stopped and you're going to get slowed down. So you got to be able to slow them down. And if you can't do that, then you're going to lose. And Damian Lillard doesn't help us defensively. I think Giannis is the best defensive player in the game. I think Drew Holiday is the best perimeter defender in the game. Even when Leonard was healthy, I think Drew Holiday is the best perimeter defender in the game. And I don't think that Damian Lillard helps them. I think that they lose with Damian Lillard on that unit. Now, mind you, I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan. I'm a big-time Damian Lillard fan. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Keyshawn. How was Atlanta last year? I'm glad you mentioned stops, right? I'm glad you mentioned that. How was Atlanta last year defensively? They were in the Eastern Conference Championship. How were they defensively? So I'm clear, because you know more about this than I do. So how was Atlanta defensively? Not only were they bad, they were at the bottom of the league, right? Now, the teams that they beat, how about those teams? How good were those teams defensively? How good were they? Because I'm glad you brought Atlanta up. And before you go any further, what happened when they ran into a team? What happened when they ran into a team that played defense? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Milwaukee was at the top of the league last year defensively. Yeah, the Knicks and the 76ers, absolutely. And I still stand on this to this day. I don't believe that the 76ers they had no business losing to them dudes last year. But with that being said, what happened when they ran into that Milwaukee team? A team that actually defended. One more time, Jake, for the people in the cheap seats. I don't think they heard you. And they choked. They were up in that series. So what happened when they ran into the Milwaukee Bucks, who were a better defensive team? What happened? The only reason why they lost in 6 is because Giannis got hurt. Did Giannis not get hurt? Because they mop the floor with them dudes if Giannis doesn't get hurt. Is that not straighten me out. If Giannis doesn't get hurt, what happens to them? This is a bullshit conversation, yo. It is. And the reason why it's a bullshit conversation is because when I look at that Atlanta Hawks team, the reason why Atlanta won that game is because Philadelphia couldn't do anything offensively. They had a dude who couldn't score, and Doc Rivers got out coached. It had nothing to do with what they were doing defensively. If I'm not mistaken, make sure that I'm going to straighten me out if I'm not straighten me out. Was Trae Young, I think he shot under 40%. I think he might have shot under 30% when Ben Simmons was guarding him. Is that not a fact? Yes or no? So, with that being said, why did they lose? Because it sounds like what I'm doing here is I'm saying you have to be able to guard. Well, what about Atlanta? Well, what happened to Atlanta was Doc Rivers didn't make the necessary adjustments. Ben Simmons couldn't score. Embiid couldn't score. None of them dudes could score. Absolutely they couldn't. And because they couldn't score and the adjustments weren't made for them to score, which was just give the ball to Ben Simmons and let him go downhill. Well, he doesn't want to go downhill. And you know why he doesn't want to go downhill? Because he doesn't want to go to the stripe. So he shouldn't be on the floor. The point is when you get to the playoffs, if you don't defend, you are not going to win. If Giannis doesn't get hurt, they beat them dudes in 5 games. You told me that they beat them with Giannis on the floor. And they were up 3-1 before Giannis got hurt. They was about to mop them dudes right out the playoffs. Goodbye. See y'all later. Get out of here. Get out of here. Had he not gotten hurt, they would have mopped them dudes in 5 games. But the point is there's no way to argue that the Atlanta Hawks, who were a bad defensive team, you can't debunk that because they ran into a great team defensively and they were going to get smoked out of the playoffs had Giannis not gotten hurt in 5 games. So, as I was saying about, let's see here. What was I saying? I was talking about how the Milwaukee Bucks didn't use Surge. I didn't get that. I did not understand that. That still doesn't make much sense to me. I still have a difficult time with why they didn't involve him more. That would have meant taking some of Bobby Portis's minutes, but I would have been cool with that. I would have been 100% confident with that. I wouldn't have had a problem with that, especially, right? Especially what I random, especially if he would have been producing, which I think he would have been. I think you could have got a solid 10, 15 minutes out of Serge. And I think he would have helped. No doubt about that. Now, as far like I said, as far as the Phoenix Suns series, there was nothing to make me believe that early on in the series, nothing that I saw early on in the series to make me think that Dallas really had a shot, because it looked to me like they had a handle on Dallas. We're going to let Luka eat, and we're going to slow down the rest of these guys, which they were doing early. What I didn't anticipate is I didn't anticipate Chris Paul playing as badly as he did. Ken, don't tell me that I'm sleeping on the Mavs. I'm not sleeping on a team that finished 5th in the Western Conference, that finished 15th in three-point shooting. I'm not sleeping on a team like that. They were an average, middle-of-the-road team. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. That's what they were. And because they were that, there was no reason for me to. They had one really good player, they had one elite player, and a bunch of good players that nobody really paid attention to. So there was nothing to make me think that, these dudes could really beat them. I didn't see anything. But what I did get, what did happen to me, though, I got tricked. You know how I got tricked? I got tricked by seeing Chris Paul in Oklahoma City. I got tricked by seeing Chris Paul last year in Phoenix. I got tricked because what that dude in Oklahoma City and that dude in Phoenix did was he kind of threw me off the track, right? He threw me off the track, and he made me forget about Chris Paul with the Clippers. He made me forget about that dude, when in reality, that dude has always been there. I had forgotten about that dude. Damn. And he showed, and he reared his ugly head like, there he is. There is that guy. I forgot all about him. Ha! But I'm thinking they still got enough, right? I think they still got enough to at least get by these dudes. I felt like that. I felt like that they should be. And you're absolutely right, Jillian. My backcourt can't go 0 for 11 in the game 7. That can't happen. There's no way that can happen. My backcourt cannot go 0 for 11 for the half and Luka have as many points as my team. That means we're getting nothing. That means I'm getting absolutely nothing from them, which would explain why they were in the hole the way they were. And I didn't think you could make a lot of adjustments because, in game 7, everything you've seen everything already. There's nothing new. You know what we run. We know what you run. So it's nothing new here, right? So with that being said, there's no way for me to believe that there's going to be major adjustments. Well, Jason Kidd switched that up. Jason Kidd completely switched that up. And how did Jason Kidd switch that up? Well, what he did was he basically jumped Book. And we all know, because we saw it already, we all know that Book sucks in the double team. We know that. I believe it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I think Book was in a pickup game with Joakim Noah, and they were doubling, and he didn't appreciate that at all. He thought that, why am I getting double teamed? Well, we don't double team in pickup. Well, the thing about the playoffs, the thing about the summertime is you get to work on what you're not good at. Right? Don't you get to work on what you're not good at? So you would have thought that he would have worked on that. Nah. Nah. It's obvious what Chris Paul, what Jason Kidd was trying to do. It's called a soft double, where Powell's gonna chase Book off the screen. Now, the reason why this worked in the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s, because guys weren't splitting the double. Jordan was the only guy who would split the double. Stockton would split the double sometimes. Isaiah would, but These guys weren't splitting the double like Bryant was in the 2000s, like Wade was, like James was, and KD was. And what Jason Kidd saw was Book is not going to split the double. He's not going to attack downhill. And when we get him in the soft corner, not all the way in the corner, but in the soft corner, we'll blitz him. And we already know what happens when he gets blitzed. He can't get the ball out of his hands quick enough. Either he's going to throw it away or he's going to throw up a bad shot. That's who Book is in the double team. That's absolutely who Book is in the double team. And that ended up being the difference in what happened last night. They completely threw a monkey wrench. I never thought I'd see Monty Williams get outcoached. Jason Kidd threw a monkey wrench in what they were doing offensively. Never thought that I'd see him get outcoached. Never. Never thought that I'd see that. So, no, Jillian, that clip is not. That clip is aging well, Jillian. You are right about that. Celtics are like last year's Bucks. Both teams sweated in the first round, won game 7. If Gary Payton was on Jordan in 96, Jordan would only have 5 rings. I don't know about that, kid. I think that the series might have gone different. I don't know if they would have won, but I think that the series would have gone different. So, remember this, James. The game plan was to make Grant Williams shoot. That was the game plan. And that's going to be the game plan moving forward, too. He was wide open. Just remember that, James. That was the game plan. And he shot 18 threes and made 7 of them, which is under 50% on wide open shots. Not contested threes, wide open threes. Just remember that. Yes, Lamar, Pat Beverly was absolutely out of line with what he said. I don't know if you saw this, but some people were saying DA and Monty got into it on the sideline. They did get into it on the sideline, Jillian. And not only did they get into it on the sideline, him and Chris Paul got into it too when he took Chris Paul out of the game. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe he took Chris Paul out of the game and Chris Paul didn't appreciate that. And I think that maybe he wanted to see that fire from Ayton, and he didn't. And that's probably why he got yanked. And I'm having a difficult time with it being. I'm just having a difficult time with my best big only playing less than half the game. I don't know if he would have got benched. Not sure about that. Not sure about that. Antonio Brown wants to retire a Steeler. I think that the Steelers are done with him. I don't think that they want to be involved with him anymore. I think that they're out of the Antonio Brown business. I think they straight. So, I think they're good. I think that bridge is burned. Yes, King. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but when I think about a guy and what's the alternative? I can't let 18 and 10. I can't let a 23-year-old who's 18 and 10 walk out the front door. I can't do that. Now, him being a restricted free agent, that helps because whatever offer he gets, they're going to match it. They're not just going to let him walk. That's not going to happen. No. But it also helps Phoenix because now they could get him cheaper than what they originally wanted. They're going to let him go test the free agent market. So, and as they should, as they absolutely should. They did lowball him, and I think that's a problem. And they still, and again, remember that they still got him under contract. So that helps. That absolutely helps. No, this does not prove that Chris Paul is better than, or Russ is better than Chris Paul. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Scott, I don't know how you're doing that. There's no way that I'm taking JaVale McGee, who is a solid backup, made a living as a backup, over Ayton. No way. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No way am I doing that. I agree with you that LeBron is a better scorer all time than KD, but what is your argument for that? So you want to hear my logic on why I think James is a better scorer? I think James is better in transition. I think James is a better post player. James's mid-range has improved. KD's better from the stripe, and I think KD is better from the stripe. I think KD got a little bit better of a handle on it. I think James is smarter as a scorer. I think he's better in transition. I think he's better in the one-on-one going downhill. I think he's better in the mid-range. I think he's better. Well, the reason why you don't trust him, Scott, is because he's young. This is only year 3 for him. I'm sorry, year 4. We won't even know. We got a guy that's 18-10, man. That 18-10, I think that could very well turn into, if we're talking about, hold on for a second. I think that I missed this. I don't think Giannis needs more help. No, I do not. I think that once they get Middleton back, I think that they shore up the middle. I think that they get them another big fella in there, and in the middle, in the process of them getting another big fella in there, I think we run it back. Absolutely. I think Connaughton comes back better. I think Grayson Allen will be better. This is his first year playing on a team like this. I think he'll be better. Run it back. Absolutely, run it back. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. You're gonna find this one interesting, Jillian. And somebody put this on my mind last night. I wonder if Dallas can win it. I wonder if Dallas can win it. Because I think that they might have the best player in this series. I wonder if they can win it. They might. I'm thinking about defensively. They're one of the better defensive teams. It is, Jillian. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm thinking about Dirk in 2011. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they can win it. You think they can do this again? Here's the thing, though, King. And this is what I want to make sure that we clear on, my man. When you get to this point, I have a difficult time believing that you could slow guys down. Like, if you're a great scorer, you could figure it out. The book, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I saw guys get slowed down. I saw KD get slowed down. I saw Book get slowed down. I saw Curry get slowed down. I saw Thompson get slowed down. I saw them guys get slowed down. So because of that, right? Because of that, can the Warriors slow down Luka? I ain't saying stop him. Excuse me. Can the Warriors slow him down? That's my question. Well, the way that they're going to have to, the way that they're going to at least give an opportunity to slow him down, they got to get the ball out of his hands, right? And not only do they have to get the ball out of his hands, they got to double him and they got to chase him off one-on-ones, because that's exactly what Jason Kidd did yesterday with Phoenix. They put him in similar situations where he was matched up with DeAndre Ayton, and the plan was go after him. We get you in switches with DeAndre Ayton, don't let him off the hook, go after him. We get you in switches with any of their big guys. We get you in switches with JaVale McGee, go after him. We get you in switches with Chris Paul, go after him. Do not let him off the hook. Do not let him off the hook. And that's exactly what the Warriors have to slow down. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of switching because those guys with the Warriors on the perimeter, they're not interchangeable defensively. I can't see Steph Curry switching on to Luka and Luka not going after him. I think that Draymond does his best to concentrate solely, right? To concentrate solely on dealing with Luka and trying to slow him down. Oh, he every bit of 6'8", Jillian. Every bit of it. There's nothing 6'5" or 6'6" about him. He's every bit of 6'8". No doubt about that. So, well, there is no guarantee that he's staying with the 49ers. He just hasn't been traded yet. And he wants to get paid. So, ain't no guarantee that he's staying with the Niners. He just wasn't traded yet. That's all. But I am happy about Debo wants his role. He wants a different role. He doesn't want to have to do all the stuff that he's doing. And in the process of him having to do all this stuff that he's doing, I also think that he's a little nervous about this quarterback situation. So I do not think Luka is better than Joker. No, I don't think that. Joker is bigger. He's a better rebounder. I think he's a little bit better on defense. He's a better facilitator. I do not think that he's better. I think that you just looking primarily at offense. That's what I think you're looking at. You're looking primarily at offense. You're not looking at nothing else. Well, he was on the Lakers. No doubt. Yeah. Luka is not clear of. Now, Ramel, is that your name? Do me a favor. Explain to me, because I'm obviously in the dark about this. What makes Luka clear of Joker, the two-time league MVP? What makes Luka clear of him? I'm not going to say another word. I'm all ears for this one. What makes him clear of him? Nah, Lev, I already, what you call it? Because they got swept? That makes him clear of them? That makes him, because they got swept? That just means my team isn't close. That's all that means. That doesn't mean that he's clear of me. That means that as a team, we're not close. And Luka's team won in 7 games. Okay, so that makes him clear. I can't get with that logic. No. Nope, I can't get with that logic. All you're telling me is Luka. All you're telling me is because Joker got swept. How is Joker's team better? What makes Joker's team better? I think that Klay Thompson is going to do his best to deal with Brunson King. Absolutely. See, Keyshawn, this is the logic that doesn't work with me. Them dudes didn't play. If them dudes played, then that's something completely different. MPJ in his second year, you think he's better than Spencer Dinwiddie in his second year? That's juvenile right there. I'm not entertaining that. Now, back to what you talked about, King, that you just said to me. I think Klay Thompson is going to do his best to deal with Brunson. Brunson got that herky-jerky game, and he could get to the basket on anybody. I thought Chris Paul would have done a better job on him. Even though his numbers went down in this series, I think his numbers went down like 10 points. He was averaging almost 28 a game in that Utah series. In this series, I think he was barely averaging 18. So I think that they did do a good job on him early. And I think that Klay Thompson and Steph, they did a good job on Desmond Bane and Brooks also. So I think that we're gonna see a different outcome with Brunson. Can he continue to play like this? We're gonna find out, my man. We are definitely gonna find out. I'm glad you mentioned that, Sauce, because I got a question to pose to you. If Jason Kidd, if they were to win let's say they win the NBA championship this year, and let's say Jason Kidd for the next 10 years goes on a run, not necessarily winning it again, but let's say he goes on a run where his team is competitive and they're in the Western Conference semifinals and maybe another Western Conference finals over the next 10 years, and they're a consistent 55 win, they're a consistent 55 win team over the next 10 years. Is Jason Kidd a Hall of Fame coach? Yeah, we are acting like that, Fred, because you know why we acting like that, Fred? Because we haven't seen that. Stop talking about Steph Curry like he's still the same dude from 4 years ago, because he's not. He's not that guy anymore. He's still good, but don't talk about him like he's a 40-piece every night. No, he ain't. He had a difficult enough time dealing with Ja. So don't talk like that about him, like he's still that dude, because no, he is not. Kill it. Kill that. You can't give me legit logic to tell me that Luka is better than LeBron James. You can't. You could try to give me legit logic. I'm all ears, James. I'm all ears for you to give me legit logic on how Luka is better than LeBron James. I'm all ears. I think he will too, King. And I think he did a good job. Him and Bullock did a real good job on Chris Paul. The difference is the same thing that they did last year with what Holiday did. Picking him up 90 feet and slowing him down offensively, that took a toll on their offense. And I think Finney-Smith and Bullock could do the same thing with Curry. The pickup point being quicker, and not only the pickup point being quicker, also keeping the ball away from them. I absolutely believe that, no doubt. Who's better at the same age? LeBron. All y'all looking at is the offensive side of the basketball. That's all y'all looking at. Luka has no commitment on the defensive side of the basketball. He's on a really good defensive team. There is no commitment from Luka on the defensive side of the basketball. Add that to the fact that I don't think Luka's going to hold up. I do not. But what you guys get sucked into, and we've had this conversation countless times, you guys get sucked into the pretty face. You guys get sucked into the girl who's got the nice body, and you don't examine anything else. Luka is buckets. I will not fight that. Luka is a great playmaker. Where is the commitment on the other side of the basketball? That's my question to you guys. And you can't give me a satisfactory answer on that. You know why? Because you're so enamored with him shooting the long ball. You're so enamored with him getting in the lane and scoring the basketball. Where is the commitment on the defensive side of the basketball? No, he doesn't, Ramel. No, he does not. You are in the minority saying that Luka plays defense. He's on a really good defensive team. He does not play defense. What I need you to do is take off your Luka fan hat, and I need you to watch the game and watch Luka. Luka is not getting down in the stance and going after you. No, he is not. He ain't slowing nobody down. Absolutely not. Hell no. I'm glad you mentioned that one, Ramel, because you know what? Magic Johnson was the Steelers leaders too. And I can't get any of you to tell me that Magic was a defender. I can't get none of you to tell me that. Steph Curry led the league in steals. I can't get none of you to tell me that Steph Curry is a defender. James Harden led the league in steals. I can't get none of you to tell me that James Harden is a defender. Not one of y'all. But you trying to sell me. You trying to sell me that Luka is a defender. Okay. I'm good. No, it doesn't, Justo. And you know why it doesn't? The reason why it doesn't is because the further along you get into the playoffs, what we're going to do is we're going to expose that. And he's going to run into a team who's going to expose that. This dude doesn't want to guard. The best teams, what they do is they expose your deficiencies. And if you think that the Dallas Mavericks are going to be able to hide Luka defensively, especially against the Golden State Warriors, you got another thing coming, my man. You got another thing coming. Yes, you do. I think Pat Beverly was out of line, yo. I do. I think he was out of line. I absolutely believe he was out of line. And you talking like he's an average defender. Luka doesn't cover anybody. Luka's not trying to cover. Luka wants to go back and forth with you. That's all he's doing. I watched Luka play defense. His closeout is slow. His ability to get pressure on you is way below average. Absolutely not. No way. I don't even think he's average. No. No way is he average. Ain't nobody fighting the numbers, James. I'm not fighting. Whoa. I'm not fighting the numbers at all. I will not fight those numbers. 28, 9, and 9, and took his team to the NBA Finals. To the West Finals. I will not fight those numbers. No. The question that was asked to me was, how is he better than James? Nah, yo. That commitment on the defensive side of the basketball is not there. I don't think so. Luka's going to have to deal with Steph Curry. He's going to have to deal with Klay Thompson. He's going to have to deal with Jordan Poole. You're not going to be able to hide him in this series defensively. You're not. When you look at the Phoenix Suns offensively on the wing, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Book. I'd like to think that Curry. I'd like to think that Thompson. I'd like to think that Poole. There are other perimeter players. I think that they're better. And I think that the way Golden State offense operates, where there's constant Wiggins too, I think that their offense, the way it operates, where there's a lot of ball moving and there's a lot of action off the basketball, that's going to expose a lot of deficiencies on that Dallas defense. A lot. Here we go with this. Ramel, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Because what I have such a difficult time with when I talk to people, so now I hate Luka. Now I hate him. I'm done talking to you. You and I are finished. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out on you. I'm not a Frank Ntilikina fan. I'm just not. And the reason why I'm not, my man, is because I remember him with the Knicks, and he just didn't look like a guy who was working on his game. He didn't. He did not look like a guy who was working on his game. He did not look like a guy who was coming in ready. I'm out on him. I'm straight. I was watching this Dallas team last night, man, and I'm thinking to myself, can they win it? Can this Dallas team win it? That's what I'm thinking to myself. Can they win it? Now, I know that what I was watching last night was an abomination. Don't get me wrong. That was terrible, right? That was absolutely terrible what I saw. Right? That was absolutely terrible what I saw. And what I saw last night, when I'm watching this Dallas team, I'm thinking, if they could play like this, now I ain't saying that, they're going to beat teams by 50, but if they could get this kind of action and they can get this kind of production offensively from Luka, can they win it? Am I ridiculous to think that they can win it? Because they look like last night, they looked like a championship team. That's what they looked like last night. I wasn't I wasn't thinking that this was a fraud. I'm thinking to myself, can they win it? So is that a Mavs Finals champ prediction? I don't know, Jillian, because I'm looking at that Dallas team. I'm thinking, can they win it? Maybe they can. I don't know. I can't say you won't get me to come on here and go, yo, I think Golden State serves these dudes. Because wait a minute. I can't say that with 100% certainty. I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking at this Dallas team, and what I saw last night, they look like a championship contending team. They look like a team that's serious and that they could possibly go on a run here, which they've already done. I think it's a combination, Sauce. But I think it's a combination of Doncic and Kidd. But I think Kidd, he was more important to Luka, and Luka is more important to the unit because Jason Kidd got in Doncic's ear. Yo, you got to get yourself in better shape. You got to become more of a playmaker. You got to involve these guys more. You got to take better care of your body because we need you in order to be successful. So I think Jason Kidd getting in Doncic's ear, I think that helped them out. So who was more important? I'd have to say Jason Kidd because he was the one who sparked Luka. They didn't have the top two records. No, they didn't. Dallas was the 5th seed in the West. What did I miss? What did I miss? I don't know if I'm gonna go that far. Were they the 4th seed or the 5th seed, Julian? So they were the 4th seed. Okay, I thought they were the 5th seed. My fault. I thought they were the 5 seed. I thought Utah was they overtook Utah. Correct. Utah was the 4th seed and Dallas overtook them. My fault. Now that makes more sense. Okay, all right, Lev, I can get with that right there. Since January, because if I remember correctly, that Boston team, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were in 10th place in the middle of January. And I was really critical of Udoka. I wasn't sure if he was the guy. I know he was new, but he still had some work to do. I was still looking at this Boston team where they were still trying to figure out what Tatum and Jaylen Brown, what their roles were. So we were still trying to figure that sort of thing out, right? So I wasn't sure about them. Same thing with Dallas. I think Dallas at one point was 6th in the West. They were right around. They were right around at 5-6. They were them in Denver. They were right around there. Utah was solid at 4 and 3. So I wasn't really sure about them at all. I wasn't. I think the Milwaukee Celtics winner wins the Eastern Conference Championship. I think the Boston Celtics going to the NBA Finals. I do. I think that the Boston Celtics are going to the NBA Finals. No, LeBron James is not an overrated defender. I hate that. Oh my God, I hate that. That boils my blood when I hear that. And the reason why that boils my blood when I hear that is because I've seen James in signature moments. Guys who are overrated defenders don't have signature moments. That burns me when I hear that. So if you say LeBron James is an overrated defender, you have to come with some sort of logic to justify that. I've seen James in signature moments locked down. So that's nonsense for you to say something like that because you can't give me any legit logic to substantiate that. That's terrible. He did too, yo. He absolutely did. I was surprised too, Charles. I was, man. That really bugged me out. The best player in the best player. You can make the argument that it's Luka. That he's the best player in the game right now. He's the best player in the tournament. Him and Jason Tatum, they're the best two players in the tournament. As of right now, they're the best two players in the playoffs. They did, Jillian. They absolutely did. They made it look like it was nothing, that it was just a cakewalk. That it was just a cakewalk, and it's not. Mm-mm. I think he's playing better than Steph Curry. So, and I'm looking at, from what I saw last night, I'm just usually I can't say with 100% when history tells me that the best player doesn't always come out on top. Because Giannis was the best player in the tournament, and his team lost in 7 games, right? So Jordan was the best player in the playoffs from 88 on, but his team didn't come out on top for a long time. Shaq was the best player in the playoffs, and his team didn't come out on top. There were plenty of times when the best player there was plenty of times when the best player in the playoffs, his team didn't come out on top. But I'm looking at what Luka is doing, and I'm looking at what he does for that unit, and I can't say with 100% certainty that they won't win the tournament. I'm having a difficult time. I can't believe I'm saying that the Dallas Mavericks could win the NBA championship. I'm bugging out saying that. I'm for real bugging out saying that. Absolutely. No, he isn't, James. He is not a better passer. He's not the difference here in year 4, and remember this too, James. I want you to make sure that we remember this. Remember that Luka came into the game way more polished, right? He had been playing against pros since 16. James comes into the game right out of high school. He's playing against high school guys. And he goes from playing in high school to playing in the pros. So the commitment was there defensively with James, and I think that's the separator. I think that's the separator between him and Luka. He averaged 7 assists. And he's getting 7 dimes with Larry Hughes and Damon Jones and Boobie Gibson on his team. These are the dudes that he's getting 7 assists with. These are the dudes that he's getting 7 assists with. Larry Hughes and Eric Snow in year 4. Jack, all of these guys, you keep talking about Steph Curry. If he gets another ring, how is he still not top 10? The guys that are in the top 10, have they been the best player in the championship series? Has Steph Curry ever been the best player in the championship series? When, Jack? When was he the best player in the championship series? He was not the best player in 2015. That was James. They was talking about giving the finals MVP to James, and they lost. So that doesn't work. No. He was not the best player in that championship series. No, he was not. James averaged almost 40 a game in that series. They was talking about giving him the finals MVP, and they lost. So no, he was not. At no point Was Steph Curry ever better than LeBron James? Ever. So when you talk about Steph Curry winning the NBA championship, the separator is he's got to be the best player in a championship series. He doesn't have to average 50, but he's got to be the best player in a championship series. That matters, B. That matters. It does. It absolutely matters. If Mitchell ends up with the Knicks and in 2 years, y'all going to run him out of there. That's how y'all get down. In 2 years, you're going to run Mitchell out of there. Because if I'm not mistaken, Julius Randle won the most improved player last year, and y'all was ready to have a parade on 34th and Madison when you won one game against Atlanta. Now, Julius Randle is on the trade block. So you get Donovan Mitchell in 2 years. If he hasn't played well, y'all running him out of there. So I'm not trying to hit. I do like that comparison. I think Bird was better, though. I think Bird was smarter. I think Bird was better on the defensive side of the basketball. I think Luka gets compared to Larry Bird, number one, because he's white. Number two, because he's not as athletic like Larry Bird was. So there's that comparison. But that's as far as I'm going. He doesn't play as hard as Larry Bird. He doesn't rebound the basketball like Larry Bird. He doesn't pass the ball like Larry Bird. He's not as clutch as Larry Bird was. So, but I can appreciate the comparison. I'm not saying that Luka, that they're saying that Luka is better. So no, I'm not saying that, but I can understand the comparison. I can get with that. Mm-hmm. What's next for the Suns? Well, first of all, we got to get DeAndre Ayton back in the fold. We definitely got to do that. We definitely got to get DeAndre Ayton back. I've been to Seattle before, Liam. Dope spot. I had a really good time in Seattle. Fifth Street Market. I don't know if it's still there. This was like 10 years ago that I was there. The downtown scene is dope. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to stuff like museums and aquariums and stuff like that. I'm way into stuff like that. So the Seattle Aquarium is dope. So if you want to check out stuff like that, like I said, I'm a nerd when it comes to stuff like that. I'm big into museums and aquariums and stuff like that. I dig that kind of stuff. So. Can you ask me if I've ever been to Brooklyn? I got family in Brooklyn. I'm from Jersey originally. I got family in Crown Heights. Yeah. I got family in Crown Heights, no doubt. That's what I don't get neither, Justo. Well, here's the question that needs to be answered. If you have a 37-year-old that's your best player, is that a problem? That's my question. But here's the thing, though, Jake. I mean, James is an anomaly. James is not the norm. Like we see guys. This is why I think about guys like James. I think about guys like Brady. I think about guys like Chris Paul. We see these guys and we see how good these guys are. We think everybody's going to be like that, and they're not. That's not going to be the norm. Building it around a guy who's 37 years old. James will be 38 in December of this year. 38, my man. I can't build my unit around and the reason why I can't build my unit around a 38-year-old is simply because when you get to that age, very much like Tom Brady with Tampa, there is no future. Everything is year to year. Let's see how we do this year. We'll talk about next year. Let's see how we do this year. Everything is year to year. Everything, because we don't know if you're going to hold up. We have no idea if you're going to hold up. So you're from the Flatlands. All right. Yep. I got people in Crown Heights, and I got people in Red Hook Projects. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. All right, guys, it's about that time for me. We're going to do it again real soon. Playoff basketball is in effect. We are down to the final four. Right? We are down to the final four. And it's just heating up. So until then, take it light. Take it.